hen eventually died. At the hands of the inheritor of the demonic art. Gu Xianer spoke, "Hey, you're so domineering, aren't you worried about bad consequences?" Gu Chang'e answered calmly, "Just a small Taishu clan, what impact could they have? Besides, wasn't I helping you solve your problems?" Xianer said, "Can I be blamed for this? I just accidentally picked up a broken inscription, and then he came to me saying I stole his stuff." Gu Chang'e was slightly surprised and asked, "Oh. How was that inscription broken?" Xianer took out the ancient stele and replied, "This one. I don't understand it, but Duqing said it has an extraordinary background." Gu Chang'e took it and appeared deep in thought, then said, Indeed, it is a bit special." After speaking, the young man casually put the inscription into his bag, leaving Xianer dumbfounded. Xianer angrily shouted, "Despicable Gu Chang'e, give me back my inscription." Gu Chang'e pushed her away and responded, "What's yours? If the thing is in my hands, it's naturally mine." Xianer sobbed and said, "If you don't return it, I'll really get angry, don't try to fool me." Gu Chang'e coldly replied, "If you want it, come and take it by force." Gu Chang'e gave a faint glance to the side. But the young man was startled. Gu Xianer ran to Ming Kong's side and cried, "Wu. Sister Ming Kong. Look at him, he's been bullying others since he was young. He's so shameless that he even tricked me into giving him my stuff, Wu." Ming Kong comforted her, "Don't cry, he's always been like this, nothing strange about it." Prince Qinshuan mocked, Can he really be considered a good human?" Gu Chang'e spoke, "All right, stop pretending to cry, at least do it convincingly. I'll give you a weapon from the Great Sage realm. But it's useless anyway." Xianer immediately stopped crying, happily spreading her hands and saying, "Deal, 5 items." Gu Chang'e angrily replied, 2 items. If you haggle more, you'll get nothing." Prince Qinshuan stepped forward and said, "Brother Gu, that was really impressive just now. It's a shame we didn't see you forcefully marry Jiang Les Hen, that's a bit of a regret." Gu Chang'e replied indifferently, "Saintess Qinshuan, I am now human, so calling me Brother Gu is somewhat inappropriate." Prince Qinshuan muttered, "Oh, human indeed." But she thought to herself, this guy definitely isn't human. If he is, then I'd rather go and take a dump. Suddenly, a group of people flew down behind them, and Xiao Ruoyin hurriedly called out, "Young Master Gu. Young Master Gu wasn't injured just now, right? Ruoyin was really worried about your safety." Prince Qinshuan was surprised and thought, "Damn, another girlfriend. Gu Chang'e, you're truly famous." The people behind clasped their hands together and said, "The disciples of Dao Tian Immortal Palace greet Brother Gu. Just now, junior sister." Ruoyin was watching from afar, very concerned about Brother Gu's safety. Gu Chang'e replied, "Thank you all for your hard work." Suddenly, Xianer shouted again, "Gu Chang'e, you're too much." "Who was that? Have you considered Sister Ming Kong?" Suddenly, a hand blocked her. Then Ming Kong spoke, "It's Xiao Ruoyin, right? This person must be the one Long Gu mentioned before, the one who saved me outside the Forbidden Zone. I am his fiancé, Yu Ming Kong." Xiao Ruoyin was surprised and said, "So it's Princess Ming Kong in front of me. No wonder you have such an extraordinary aura." Prince Qin was shocked and thought, "What the hell, is she a mistress artist? So hypocritical." The scene shifted to Jiangshen. At this moment, he was cracking the restrictions and preparing to rob the tomb. 2 people were guarding Jiangshen. The old monk asked from behind, Jiang Shizhu, is this really your ability?" "As expected, I did not misjudge you. But the road in this divine tomb is winding and complicated. Shouldn't we wait for Princess Luotian to act?" Jiangshen immediately replied, "No. There are many cultivators watching outside, including some strange figures. Finding the location of the divine relic is just a matter of time. We must fight for time, or we might return empty-handed. If Princess Luotian blames us later, neither Master nor I will have a good outcome." He said this while quickly running ahead, and the old monk agreed, what Jiang Shizhu said is right. Anyway, the disciples of the Tai Su God clan left a mark, they will catch up soon. As Jiang Shen ran, he thought, what the hell, what kind of joke is this? If I get caught by Gu Changa, will I still have a chance to live? The bronze bamboo whispered, don't worry, as long as we get the treasures in the divine tomb first, I will ensure your safe retreat. Outside the tomb, a voice came, everyone, Jiang Luoshan of the Tai Su God clan just went into the palace. Below. Maybe the entrance is really under this palace. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. Gu Tian'er, hearing this, anxiously urged Gu Changa, then let's go in too. Why aren't you in a hurry? All the treasures will be taken. Gu Changa calmly responded, for an opportunity like this, it's not about the order. Ming Kong thought. In her heart, based on my previous life experience, these people will suddenly encounter disaster. Gu Tian'er happily realized, ah. I get it. You're waiting for them to bring the treasures out before making your move to rob them, right? Hearing this, Gu Changa immediately scolded, what did you say? Gu Tian'er, have you forgotten everything I taught you? Such robbery is really tasteless. Ming Kong also added, yes, Tian'er, we are righteous people, you can't say such things again. Tian'er was surprised and said, Xiao Ruoyin, who was nearby, also praised, Gu Gongzi's family traditions are indeed upright and strict. At this moment, those who were eager to take advantage were suddenly swept away by a blood-red whirlwind. A young man yelled in panic, what is that? In the whirlwind were some terrifying monsters with teeth growing all over their bodies. They opened their large mouths as if they were going to bite someone. Some recognized, the legendary tomb-guarding beast. Each one is at least at the saint realm. How can the Tai Su God clan enter safely? The monsters kept tearing at the cultivators, causing them to scream, Aya, Aya. A blonde girl saw one of the monsters lunging towards her, trying to grab her chest, and she was scared, tears in her eyes. At the critical moment, King Lu Quan suddenly rushed over and performed a heroic rescue, his strength immense. King Lu Quan easily grabbed two monsters, pulling them along as he said, what's so great about bullying the weak? Let me deal with you. A junior saw this and recognized, that's King Lu Quan from the Immortal Book Pavilion's army. The girl who was saved said in confusion, army. Damn, before she could even thank him, another monster punched her head off. The battle quickly turned intense, with explosions and collisions happening non-stop. Inside the tomb, Jiang Luoshan and her younger brother had already gone deep inside. Upon entering, she asked, Grandmother Jean, have you found the location of the tomb master? The old woman replied, that Jiang Shen actually has some skill. He and Pudu have already entered the main tomb to break the restrictions. I've specifically prepared here to welcome the princess. Gung Lushan held up the token and said, luckily, we have the divine clan's token, which can prevent the tomb guardians from attacking us. But it's only a matter of time before the sect masters outside break through the guardians' blockade at the near supreme god level. She then led the way, charging forward, let's go. This time is our advantage. Outside, a burly man frowned upon seeing the intense battle, TSK Tisk, looks like I'll have to step in too. Ming Kong observed for a while and asked, Changgu, the sect masters have already acted. Should we start as well? Their speed is too slow. Hearing a sound from the roof, he replied, all right, I'll follow your lead. He then shouted, weaklings, step aside. Don't block the way. Saying this, he pushed Kutian and I aside, move, I'll show off. Kutian and I, seeing that he dared to underestimate her, angrily said, who's the weakling? Are you looking down on me? Changgu ignored her, quickly charging down, shouting, this tomb palace is a restriction, follow me to break it. A few people flew over and replied, okay. As they went down, Changgu thought to himself, move lightly. But his light meant piercing three monsters simultaneously with the large sword. The monsters, seeing this, began to charge at him. Suddenly, before the monsters could pounce on Changgu, a golden lotus appeared. Then there was a loud explosion from the golden lotus, created by Ming Kong. A young man observed from afar, thinking to himself, not bad, as long as they don't provoke me. At this moment, Changgu and Ming Kong flew downward, with Ming Kong flying beside him to support him. The monsters came in waves, and even with the big sword, they couldn't be killed fast enough. They crawled up the sword after passing through its blade. Prince Kun saw this and his eyes widened, lightning began to flash and thunder roared as she shouted, "Heavenly Thunder Technique." Immediately, the lightning struck the monsters, making them tremble and howl. Prince Kun dashed forward, shouting, "I'll hold them off." With the Thunder Prison Technique, a tall wall formed, trapping the monsters inside. Then, lightning shot from both sides of the wall, tearing the monsters apart. Without stopping, Chang Ji's large green sword charged downward, as if to split the entire tomb. Boom boom boom. The green sword indeed pierced the tomb's main hall, causing it to explode. People gasped. So strong. Each of these humanoid tomb guardians is difficult to handle. This palace is so sturdy. Not letting everyone wait too long, the beautiful Jiang Chu Chu also began to act. She raised both hands to the sky, as if preparing to unleash a powerful move, shouting, "Roll, get out." Then, a huge pillar shot straight toward the tomb palace like a sacred cross. Chang Ji's sword finally pierced the main hall, plunging straight underground. The sect masters from various factions had to express their surprise. "Oh. Have those juniors already dealt with it?" One sect master, seeing this, sighed and thought, the disciples of the true immortal academy are indeed not simple. If I could capture a couple and take them back to refine pills. After unleashing their moves, Changgu and his group happily looked ahead. Though Ko Tian and I didn't make a move. She shouted joyfully as if she had contributed, "There's a path. Let's charge. The treasure is right ahead." Xiao Ruoyin stood far away, not daring to approach, and sighed, "Young Master Chang'e and the others are too strong, when will I?" She silently thought, just standing next to him. A girl beside her patted her shoulder and comforted, "Ruoyin Jr. sister, don't think too much. This place is very dangerous. We just need to pick up some treasures from the outskirts, and that will already be a good deal." At this moment, Gu Chang'e and several members of the True Immortal Library had already ventured deeper. But in front of them were countless different entrances, many of which had lights that made people instinctively close their eyes and fly blindly. Gu Chang'e was not in a hurry and spoke, "There are many entrances to the array here. It's safest if we stay together, but if we choose the wrong path, it will only waste time." Upon hearing this, Ming Kong thought to himself, he wants to act alone again, to do something bad. Then she also said according to Gu Chang'e's idea, "That's reasonable. If that's the case, we should separate. Whether or not we get any opportunity will depend on each person's ability." Hearing her agreement from the roof, he secretly praised, as expected of Ming Kong. Gu Xianer also happily thought, "Great. Only a fool would want to follow Gu Chang'e, following him would only be extra. Alright, let's go." The two Golden Chan monks also said, "Then we'll take this path." While Wang Zikuan and Jiang Suasua had the same thought, "I want to walk with Gu Chang'e." Seeing that the two did not speak, Ming Kong asked, "Aren't the two saintesses going together?" Wang Zikuan cleverly pushed Jiang Suasua aside and said, "Oh. I'll walk with Suasua in a while. I have some matters to discuss with brother Gu." She then transmitted a voice to Suasua, "Let's go, sooner or later you'll have to face her." Suasua said worriedly, "No, I'm not." Seeing this scene, Ming Kong evaluated in her mind, Wang Zikuan is really thick-skinned, not worse than Chang'e. Then they all flew toward different doors, leaving only Gu Chang'e and Wang Zikuan. She smiled and said, "Ah, it's just the two of us now." Transitioning to the deepest part of the tomb. A voice rang out, "Found it." The recently arrived Jiang Leshen and Jiang Shen were unlocking the Final restriction. The temple elder spoke, Princess Leshen, great. Finally, everyone is here. Jiang and I have already found the divine power. Jiang Shen then said, but this divine power is protected by an array pattern, I need more time to successfully crack it. Jiang Leshan happily said, as expected, it's the divine power of our ancestors. You can rest assured and crack it, we'll take care of the rest. Her brother secretly thought, divine power. If I get it, I can step into realms I never dared imagine before. His mind kept flashing with Gu Changa's figure, I don't want to live this kind of overbearing life anymore. I want to break that arrogant face. Transitioning back to Gu Changa. He was walking with Wang Zikuan at this time, and she said as they walked, ah, brother. Gu, it's just the two of us now. He responded, Saintess Zikuan, please mind your title. She replied, forget it, it doesn't matter in front of others, but when it's just the two of us, who would still be formal? Speaking of which. Then she whistled and asked with a smile, hey, can I ask you a question? He immediately answered, no. She said, ah. I haven't finished yet. This question is about the reincarnation of the human ancestor. He responded, but no. Seeing how difficult he was answering, she reached for something, you really have no sense of fun, forcing me to use my trump card. So she took out a jade tablet and said, hey, you owe me a favor. He replied, that's a different matter, Saintess Zikuan, please don't make it difficult for me. Hearing this, she disappointedly said, you really have no sense of loyalty, I didn't do anything, why should I be afraid? How about a simpler question? Brother Gu, who do you think is more beautiful, me or Suasua? Upon hearing this, he thought, I thought she would ask something even stranger. Then he answered, Saintess Zikuan and Saintess Suasua each have their own merits, it's hard to compare. In my opinion, both are peerless beauties, no one is above the other. Hearing this, she said, you're really sly. But brother Gu, are you trying to have both? Wouldn't that be double the happiness? Hearing her teasing, he played dumb and said, what is Saintess Zikuan saying? I don't quite understand. Seeing this, she secretly cursed in her heart, this bastard. But on the surface, she said, brother Gu, you chose this path without hesitation, how can you be sure it's not the wrong one? Suddenly, Jiang Lishan's subordinate was knocked into the air. They shouted in mid-air, Princess Leshen. Seeing her subordinates being beaten like dogs, Jiang Leshen was also surprised, what? How did they find it so quickly? The old woman beside her thought, there are so many of them, they must have split up. These people just happened to find it here. Jiang Leshen saw someone and said in shock, not good, there's a quasi-supreme expert in the team. As soon as he finished speaking, a group of people charged forward aggressively, with the leading old man laughing loudly, ha ha ha. Found it. Tracking the Tai Su divine clan was definitely the right choice. Everyone, get ready to move later, and we'll share the spoils afterward. Seeing these people were a bit excited, she immediately turned around and urged, Jiang Shen, hurry up. If I don't get the divine essence today, don't expect to live either. The old monk from the temple also anxiously shouted, Jiang Shizhu, please hurry. Hearing her say he had to go sell salt, he glanced at her and cursed, this woman changes her mind faster than flipping a book. Xiao Chu reminded, focus. It's almost done. On this side, the two sides didn't say much and immediately rushed forward. Jiang Shen didn't keep everyone waiting long and spoke, it's done. Kong Lushan said happily, great. One of the enemy's female singers immediately shouted, Kong Lushan, that item no longer belongs to you. A fiery strike came, but fortunately, Kong Lushan avoided it in time. She retorted, a small sect dares to covet the Tai Su divine clan's divine essence. Are you worthy? Saying that, she released a talisman. Immediately, the two attacks collided, causing an explosion, and the powerful shock pushed both of them backward. Kong Lushan took the opportunity to fly toward the divine essence and happily said, finally. Before she could finish her sentence, she screamed as she was knocked away by a strange object called, brother. A young man with 8 arms threw her brother aside and said, "You won't take this divine essence today." Several people recognized the young man,